So do you have a car? If you have a car, that means that you need to fix it quite a bit. But when you want to fix your car, is it easy to find a repairman? Sometimes you can look in the yellow pages. You can also look online to find businesses in America. Online you can sometimes see that some people have lots of complaints against the mechanics. And this tends to show us that mechanics aren't always great. So there are lots of things that we need to do when we're looking for a mechanic. So we need to find a good mechanic who's not going to take a long time and put a lot of pressure on us when they're fixing our car. But how do we go about finding a good mechanic? It's important to ask your friends, maybe someone in your company, ask about people who've had experiences with previous mechanics, and have them give you their input. Finding a good mechanic is like finding a good doctor. You really need to ask a lot of questions. The next step is when you go to the shop, does it look really old and dilapidated, or does it look really nice and kept up well? Also, does it seem like the employees there are really happy with their job, or does it seem like they're kind of out of it, sluggish, and not really enjoying their work? Are you getting professional customer service at their location? Is it an organized location? Do they have things organized in shelves, or is everything kind of all over the floor? It's important to make sure that their technology is quite up to date. You'll want to make sure that they have the appropriate certification to run a licensed business. You'll sometimes see it on the wall in their shops. Make sure you go to a mechanic who knows a lot about your car. Like, for example, if I took a BMW in and noticed that they did a lot of BMWs, that would be a good place to go because they'd know a lot about my car. Sometimes you'll see a badge on mechanics' shoulders that indicates that they have been certified through a national organization. With this organization, they must renew it every so often, so it's important to check and see if they have that. It's important to ask how much things are going to cost when you go to a mechanic. Make sure to be detailed in your inquisition. Not every mechanic is the same. Some are cheap and some are more expensive. You have to use your own judgment, of course. You can also be a good judge of character by meeting the mechanic in person and seeing how they communicate with you. Is it professional? You can also call the Better Business Bureau and see if there's any complaints with the company and see what their standing is. Once you've finished looking at all these different details, you can go to the shop. Make sure to let your mechanic know what exactly is going wrong with your car. Give them a feel for what's happening. If you hear something that's going wrong, or you just notice something in your car that's not quite as it should be. Make sure that they write everything down. It's important to give your mechanic all the details and that he can remember them. Sometimes you may have to be patient. It may take some time to research the problems. Be careful, as some mechanics will try to add extra costs onto your vehicle which are not warranted. Make sure that you read everything on the contract so that you can be safe and you don't run into any unnecessary problems with added costs and things like that. Make sure that you find a good mechanic so that every time something happens that you need to repair your car with, you can go back to them. There's really no clear way to see who's a good mechanic and who's a bad mechanic or who has the experience. But through your own experience, you should be able to learn as you have your car repaired every so often. Really, I hope that you don't have any problems with your car, but if a problem does occur, I hope this helped you in finding a good mechanic.